During World War One, there was a chaplain who went by the name of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. He had since, leading up to that, been a priest, and then he became a stretcher bearer and a medic on the front lines. While he was there, he did a lot of writings that some people have considered controversial, but he had a really helpful definition of sin that I think would be really great to reclaim today. So let me ask you just a few startup questions, because that's going to help define his definition of sin. Yes or no? Does God want you to be healthy? Yes. Yes or no? Does God want you to grow? Yes, of course. Yes or no? Does God want to see you become everything that you can be? Yes, of course. So yes, yes, yes. To health, to growth, and to becoming what you can be. So if that's the desire of God, and if sin is the opposite of what God wants, then that means sin might be the purposeful decision against health, growth, and becoming what we can be. Now that's incredibly difficult. That's a big pill to swallow too, right? Every time that you or I or anyone else choose to be unhealthy, to regress rather than grow, and every time we deliberately choose to not be what we can be, that would be sin. So let's break that down just a little bit more. Every time you or I deliberately do something that compromises our health, that is really a setback, not just like physical health, but also, is it maybe a sin to not go get counseling when you absolutely need counseling? That's a really hard thing to say, but you know what? That is a purposeful decision to not be healthy. And that's definitely not what God wants for you, to be unhealthy. Or let's say you meet somebody who's like 40 years old, and yet they deliberately go about their life in such a way that they choose to still act like a teenager. That's a problem, because they've deliberately avoided responsibility and they've chosen to not grow up. And both of those have to do with just not becoming who we can be. God wants to see every single person to thrive and to do well. So as you go about your week this week, be careful and just watch yourself. I mean, yes, give grace to the moments when you don't do this well, but be careful of the moments when you choose unhealth rather than health, when you choose to stay immature rather than to become more mature. And be careful of every time you deliberately choose to be less of what you can be rather than more. Because I'm concerned with the fact that God is concerned with you and I and everyone else thriving. So why not live lives in the pursuit of thriving? That's all. So that's sin from a guy named Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. May grace and peace be with you.